Ready? Okay, let's go. The first question is about the Providence EP. What are the opinions about this stuff and what was the purpose of releasing it?
Well, opinion-wise, I think it's, to date now, one of probably the best things we've done, production and material-wise. It was a really strong release. Scion, which is part of the Toyota car company, basically got in touch with us about doing not only the EP, but they did a couple of videos for us. They basically support the arts. So they basically said, look, we're going to do an EP and you'll do a video and we'll support a tour and the EP will be free to all the fans to download. So it was kind of a no-brainer to do that. So
it was a good opportunity. Yeah. I mean, when they first approached us, actually they approached us to do a show. They sponsor shows, so they do a lot of free shows. They do free festivals in the United States, and they'll get like a bunch of extreme bands. And we played the one last year, and Morbid Angel played, Obituary, Municipal Waste, Atheist, Us. A lot of bands played. And it's free for the fans. So they had a few thousand kids there, and they don't have to pay entrance, and they give out free CDs and stuff. So that's the kind of thing they do. So we did the show with them. We did another show with them that they sponsored, and they actually gave us money to do the video for Glorious Epoch. They sponsored that for us, and then they approached us to do the EP, like Bob said, and. I think the big selling point for us was the fact that it was a free release for the fans, which was good. So it was something to kind of give back to the fans, the deal allowed us to do that because they financed it, but they didn't ask for any money back, and at the end of this year, the rights for it come back to us, and then we can release it, because I know a lot of European fans actually want physical copies and not the downloadable version. So it's just a good situation. It was a lot of good promotion for us. They did the video for Illumination. They paid for that, and they, like Bob said, they sponsored the tour. So it's one of those kind of offers you really can't refuse. It was a win-win for everybody, for us and for the fans. So
was that the reason that you haven't released it for Nuclear Blast? That it was a free material?
Yeah, it's a separate completely. And Nuclear Blast was very supportive. They actually worked together with them. It's not like a separate, it's just a one-time thing, just the EP. And the new record's already done, and that'll be out through Nuclear Blast.
And speaking about Nuclear Blast, what are the differences in cooperating with them and with Listenable Records? In which label you found it better to cooperate with?
Well, Nuclear Blast is obviously a much bigger label. They have a lot more, resources to throw into the bands. And they're a stronger label for us in the United States, which was a very important factor in our decision to go with them, And Listenable was a phenomenal label for us. I mean, they did more for us in Europe than I think any label in the past had ever done for us, And it was just a small operation. So we really have nothing but positive things to say about Listenable and positive memories. Just that when our contract was over with them, we needed to make a decision that would further promote the band, and just we were really looking forward more towards the future, and Nuclear Blast offered us an avenue to go down that would really take us to that to the next level, so to say, which really for us was a bigger promotion in the United States, and we know they're a very strong force here in Europe, and we know a lot of the people who work at the label in the United States. So for us, it was that was the way we ultimately went because of those reasons, So.
Appeared on the market. From the perspective of these 2 years, how do you see this stuff right now?
Oh, the Majesty and Decay material?
The CD.
The CD itself? Yeah, I mean, we love it. We thought it was a really great release. Again, production-wise, that was the first time we used Zach Oren to do the mixing and mastering, and it really made a big difference because he's a little bit more in tune with the death metal music, so he really brought out the power in the music that maybe wasn't quite coming out in our previous releases, and the drums came out better, and just overall it had a more powerful, punchy production, which is what we've been looking for like 20 years. So basically, we're very happy with that. And then the EP, we did the same thing with the EP. We went to Paul Orfino in Millbrook, New York to record everything. And then we sent everything to Zach Oren to mix. And again, he did a phenomenal job. Both of them did a great job. So it's the combination now of using Paul Orfino to record and Zach Oren to mix and master. That combination has been working out very well for us. So as we will do with the new record, and we think this one will sound even better because now this will be our third time working with Zach. And we love the material and love the way that album came out.
Yeah, I think it was a very strong release. It got a lot of good reviews. The feedback we got from the fans just in the live situation was very positive. And I liked the record. I thought it was a good record, but the newer stuff, I think the Providence EP, I think was the next step for us, and then the new record is even more intense. I think the new record will be better than both of those combined. I think it's just very dark and just miserable.
So is Majesty and Decay your favorite release of Immolation, or maybe is it Providence, or maybe is it some of your older stuff? And if why?
I like Providence actually because it's the songs are just very to the point, and you have every different flavor of Immolation represented there. The speed, the dynamics, the slow, the heavy. I mean, the song Providence is a really unique song because it's just a completely slower song, a heavy song. Swallow the Fear is a very unique song too. It's very different. It's very slow and moody. And Illumination is unique because of the use of the cello parts at the beginning, which is something different for us. But we felt it was very dark, and because of the subject of the song, it worked perfectly. So so it was cool to do something like that because we kind of tried a couple of different things that we haven't tried before, and it was good. It was fun,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, the material is very strong, and I think over the years we've learned to kind of streamline what to do, what not to do, and take the music a little further and make it more impacting now instead of, too long, or everything's just straightforward now, and we know how to get to the point and then get out, and so we're much happier with our newer material. I love the older material too, but it's just that after doing this for so many years, it's like now I think we've really matured as writers, and it's only getting better as we go, and the new stuff on the new album is going to be even that much more dark and heavy, and so
yeah, very dark, the new shit, very dark. Very dark.
And Immolation is a band that doesn't seem to disappoint their fans. All of your materials are getting very good feedback. Is there any recipe for this situation?
I think it's just, we go with what we like and what we, obviously we know our fans will dig it because we just go by what we know and what we want to be, It's like we know what Immolation should be, and our goal is to make the darkest, heaviest, most intense stuff we can and try to find different avenues to do that and just expand on that. And I think, I guess that's what the fans want to hear too. And, we're fans of music too, so we want to just make sure that what we're doing has the right feeling, and we figure if we're happy with it, our fans will be happy with it, so that's what we go by.
Well, yeah, we just always strive to make the perfect Immolation album. And we know we're never going to ever make the perfect. So it's the whole journey of trying to get there. So as long as we get close each time, that's all that matters,
Let's talk about the front covers of your albums. They are always very unique and always very correlative with the music that is on it. Which of the works you like best that appeared on your albums? Are these works of Andreas Marshall or new of Par Olsen?
I think we like them all. It's just everything's got it's from a different time or whatever. But I mean, the Andreas Marshall stuff was phenomenal.
Yeah, classic.
And the stuff Par Olsen did is great. And even Sven from Aborted did a couple of album covers for us, which were great for what those were. So I mean, we usually have the concept and we'll give that to whatever artist we're dealing with. But for the most part, I think we're happy with everything. It's just everything's got its place, and they've all been very creative in what they've done, whether it's through painting or digital media or whatever. It's all been done very well. So we're happy with all the stuff, really.
Yeah, as long as it captures the feeling of the music on the record. That's what we always try to go for, and so far I think everyone's been very close, at least as far as our interpretation of how it should be, so.
And right now, let's talk about your lyrics. They are mostly anti-religious, anti-church. I wanted to ask you, how big influence does the church have on people's life in the United States?
In some areas, it still has a very big impact and a very big influence. Some areas, not so much. In New York, we're lucky. It's not as prevalent as, let's say, down in the South, in the Bible Belt, in certain areas. And
People are much more open-minded in like
Sure.
New York or in California as
Yeah.
opposed to the Midwest.
I think there's a lot more people now are, I think, more willing to come out and say, yeah, I'm an atheist. You know, I really don't believe in this stuff. And I think with a lot of people, it's like that. But a lot of people get stuck in it because of tradition. You know, because of their parents or their families, and they, you know. And that's how it is today. You know, I think people today are more, I think, are much sharper, more scientific-minded, and more, you know, based in reality. You know, and that's how we've always been. And so, but I think the lyrics over the last couple of records have slightly shifted a little bit to, I think, they're more socially aware. I think, you know, whether it's talking about the world or what's going on in different areas of the world, to just the human condition in general. But it's all related, so, you know. And the new record is more of a concept album, you know, and it's a very socially conscious record for sure, but it's a much darker look at what's happening today, you know, and each song looks at a different aspect of the world today, similar to like the way George Orwell looked at the future in 1984. This is kind of our look at the not so distant future, you know, so.
You have played a lot of times in Poland, which is a country in which church has a very big impact on the people's life. So I was wondering, and you are also known that after gigs you are always go straight to the fans, you talk with them. Have you found any inspirations from the conversation with the Polish fans to your lyrics?
Well, I mean, we know a lot of the Polish fans connect with our lyrics and they understand what we're saying, and our message has always been the same. It's always been, you know, it's a very atheistic message, you know, and it's. I mean, listen, I don't dislike someone if that's what they believe. Everybody's entitled to their own beliefs, you know. Everybody's an individual. If that's what a particular individual thinks they need in their life, then fine. I'm not the person to tell them no. I just don't like when they try to force it on other people, you know what I'm saying? This is how I feel, and I think the Polish fans understand that, you know, because I think religion, like you said, is very prevalent over here, and it always has been, you know. And I think that's why they connect so much with what we say, you know, and you know, it's good. I mean, it's nice to see, you know, especially when you're talking to the younger kids, you know what I'm saying? They understand it, you know, and that's, you know, if you could, as long as people understand where you're coming from in the lyrics and they get it, whether they agree with it or not, they don't have to, because at the end of the day, it's our opinion. That's it. We don't write for anybody but ourselves, so it's our opinion. If you appreciate it and you accept it, that's fine. If not, then you could buy another record.
Passion kill.
And have you ever wondered why the Northeast American scene, death metal scene, has been always in the shadow of the Floridian scene? Because there are a lot of bands in your area. You, Incantation, Mortician, Suffocation. Why do you think that these bands are more underground than Morbid Angel, for example?
I wouldn't say. I don't think Suffocation's more underground than some of the other bands. I mean, or us, or Incantation, or I mean, I think the whole concept of location and geographical area is we just happen to be from New York. You know what I'm saying? Most of the bands who are coming out of Florida aren't even from Florida. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're all from Deicide's from New York, Cannibal Corpse is from New York, Malevolent Creation's from New York. But everybody kind of migrated down to Florida because of whatever. It's cheap to live down there, and Morrisound was down there, or whatever the reasons are. But I don't think that necessarily dictates, whether a band becomes successful or not. I think it's the band, how original the band is, how hardworking they are, and sometimes you need a little luck too, So sometimes some bands have more luck or more exposure than others. So whatever the case is, but yeah, I don't know if that necessarily has a factor,
And speaking about underground, do you still have time to follow what's going on out there? And if yes, what bands have made the biggest impression on you from the underground in the latest time?
Yeah, I mean, finding time for that, to be honest with you, is not easy. I barely have time for this. It's like we both work a lot. We work our jobs. We're constantly dealing with that and other stuff in our lives. And then when it comes to this, we concentrate on this. So it's kind of hard to keep up with every little thing. When we're on the road and we're doing this, we do get to see a couple of bands here and there and stuff like that. So it's cool, but very difficult to keep up with everything that's going on. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, touring's probably the only time we really get to experience a lot of new artists, you know what I'm saying? Because we play with a lot of different bands on tour, and we get a lot of CDs from bands, and we get exposed to a lot more stuff. But now, when you're home, I mean, we work so fucking much, I get home, we work like 10, 12 hours a day, sometimes more. So between that and the music and the band and your personal lives, it's hard to be that 16-year-old kid again, where that's all you do is like trade tapes and you know what I'm saying. I don't have that time anymore. Sometimes I don't even listen to that much music anymore because I just don't have the time in the day. I really don't. So. But I find myself listening to a lot of the stuff that I liked when I started getting into the scene. A lot of the older classic stuff, a lot of the tried and true bands. You know what I'm saying? I'll pull out the Vaders or the Behemoths or the early Morbid Angel or Old Creator or Destruction or Venom. Or Celtic Frost or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what I listen to. A lot of the stuff that I always liked. You know what I'm saying? So new stuff is as harder for me to just be aware of these days, because of our situation and our schedules. It's kind of crazy.
And last question about your upcoming album. Will it be released this year? And is the title already known? Tell us a few words about its release.
Well, we don't have a title yet, and it'll probably come out sometime early next year. It's in the process. Still have to finish a couple of finishing touches on it. All the main stuff's done, but we have to add a few things, and then it has to be mixed and mastered. And, whenever Nuclear Blast feels it's the right time to put out, sometime in the early part of next year, that's when we'll get it out. So soon. I mean, we're anxious to get it out too, so
Yeah.
hopefully the sooner the better, you know.
Yeah, we don't have a release date yet. You know, it still needs to be mixed. Still got to do the leads. So all the rough tracking's done. You know, drums, bass, guitars, vocals. That's all done. So, and then we came here. We finished Sunday, so we really didn't have any time. We finished Sunday. I went to work for 2 days, and we flew here on Wednesday. So no time to even like think about that now. Now we're in show mode now. Yeah. So.
Right, thank you a lot for the interview.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
It was a real honor talking with you.
Cool. Thank you, man. Thanks.